guys, Kelly O here in Balboa Park, San Diego for part 2 of my Q&A video. So this is a video to answer your questions, whether you've left a comment on a YouTube video or sent me a DM on Instagram. I wanted to take the opportunity to speak to you directly. So like I said, I know I've answered some of your questions in writing, whether it was a comment or a DM, but I thought it would be fun to speak to you directly, and then in case anyone else had the same questions, I could address them for you guys. So part 2 of my Q&A, my first question is from Balletania, and this was on YouTube, and she wants to know what inspired you to be a showgirl. I think showgirls are glamorous, and it looks like you all have lots of fun at your job. Thank you, Balletania. I hope I'm saying your screen name right. And yes, it is really fun and glamorous. Like any job, it has its ups and downs, which is what I wrote in my comment to you. But to answer your question, what inspired me to be a showgirl? So I was working as a ballet dancer. I wasn't making a lot of money. Ballet dancers in general don't make a lot of money, but then also I wasn't good enough to get into like some of the better companies and start making more of a decent wage. So I was really struggling. And I had heard from other ballet dancers actually that I knew that there was a show in Las Vegas called Jubilee, that they hired tall dancers, that you had to be 5'8" and taller. I happen to be 5'9", and that they liked hiring ballet dancers because we had clean lines, and that was a show that really appreciated having clean lines and good posture and the things that you associate with ballet. So that was sort of what got the idea percolating in my mind. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, like, maybe that's something I would be good at, and maybe that's something I should give a try. And I was kind of curious how I would do at a different form of dance than ballet. Yeah. So I finally had the opportunity to audition the summer of 2009 when I was living in Brooklyn. The Jubilee came to New York and auditioned there. I got the job. Moved to Vegas, thought I'd be there 6 months to take advantage of the higher pay and benefits like healthcare and 401k. And I just kind of fell in love with it, and I stayed, and I've been in Vegas for 10 years. So I hope that answers your question. And judging from your screen name, I'm gonna guess that you are a ballet dancer. So if you're considering moving to Vegas, definitely Jubilee doesn't exist anymore. There aren't really any other showgirl shows in Las Vegas. They do have showgirls in the show Vegas the show, but there's nothing like it used to be. But I don't want to discourage you. Like, definitely having a strong ballet background is really sought after for a lot of people. Yeah, it could be a great career move for you if that's something you're thinking about. And if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to ask me. I hope that answers your question. Okay, my next question is also from YouTube. It comes from Rex. And he says, was ceramic braces not an option for you? Also, are you engaged? Not sure with that ring. So thank you, Rex, for the question. And I know I answered this on the channel, but for anybody else that's wondering, he's referring to this ring. And this is my engagement ring, yes, but I am actually married, not just engaged. And I'm assuming you're asking because it's not a diamond ring. It is actually an opal set in rose gold. We opted to not get a traditional diamond ring for a few reasons, mainly being that I don't support the diamond trade. You probably know that as soon as you buy a diamond ring and you walk out of the jewelry store, it depreciates drastically in value. Also, most diamonds are harvested by human slaves, so I do not want to be supporting that industry. I know you can buy ethically sourced diamonds, but just the idea in general, I don't like to support. And also, if you didn't know, the whole concept of a diamond engagement ring came from the De Beers Diamond Company. I think in the 1920s or 30s, their marketing department literally invented the idea of a diamond engagement ring to sell more rings. So it's completely arbitrary. They said, if you get an engagement ring, it should be a diamond and you should spend this much money on it. And people fell for it. And now we think it's a tradition and something that's expected and required. And it's absolutely not the case. My dad worked in marketing, and he explained that about De Beers to me when I was a little girl. I was horrified, and I said, absolutely not, I'm never getting a diamond ring. And then also my husband and I are really focused on financial independence. We don't do debt, we save for retirement, and we invest in our future. So I would rather have a less expensive ring that lets everyone know that I'm taken than have my husband spend a bunch of money unnecessarily on something material like that. So that's me. And also, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but anyone that knows me knows I don't do pretty much anything traditionally or normally. I pride myself in being my own person and being an individual, And so getting a traditional diamond ring like everybody else is just not my It's not my style. It's not my personality. It's not something I would ever do. So I told my husband, please don't spend a lot of money. So yeah, this was $400, which even that I think might have been too much. And I'm super happy with it. And what matters more is that we are very much in love, and my husband is a wonderful person, and our marriage is awesome. So that obviously matters a lot more than a ring. But yes, to answer your question, Rex, I am married, and that is the deal with my ring. Also, if you want to know more about De Beers and the whole diamond ring scam, there's a video by Adam Ruins Everything that you can check out where he kind of like walks you through it and explains it. I don't agree with Adam Ruins Everything on a lot of topics. In fact, he's actually really annoying, and I'm starting to wonder if he's not like a shill or some sort of controlled guy that says what they tell him to say. But he's definitely right about the diamonds, and you can check out his video if you want to know more about that. And the second part of his question was ceramic braces on option for you? So yeah, basically I had Invisalign for 2.5 years so that I could keep performing. And I resigned from the last show that I did, and I thought, you know what, now or never, I need to get this over with. So my orthodontist and I decided to put on wire braces. I asked about ceramic, and he said that metal was going to be faster and easier. I heard from other people that's not the case, but I don't know. I trust my orthodontist, so I wonder if maybe it has to do with the manufacturer of different braces, or I don't know what the deal is, but that's what he told me, and that's why I don't have ceramic braces. I wish that I did, but it's just temporary anyway, so hopefully be having the surgery coming up pretty soon here, and then we'll get these things off my teeth finally. Okay, the next question comes from Madeline on Instagram, and she says, I was wondering if maybe in an upcoming video you could talk about misconceptions about showgirls in Vegas, and or talk about what being an entertainer in Vegas versus anywhere else is like. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Madeline, you too. And I did answer her question on Instagram, but I thought I would address it here in case anyone else is wondering. I am planning to make a video that kind of goes more into defining what a showgirl is and what a showgirl isn't, because I think that's kind of the whole misunderstanding that has led to myself receiving a lot of hate from the Glam video that I did, and people just thinking that showgirls are strippers. And again, that's, you know, your own personal interpretation. If nudity is offensive to you, then you will probably never be okay with the concept of a showgirl, but they are very different than strippers, and there's nothing, I have no issue with stripping. I think whatever adults want to do with their body is their business, as long as they're not hurting anyone and as long as they're safe. But it is very different. Showgirls are trained dancers. So I was going to make a video that goes more into the history of the showgirl, what a showgirl is, and what it is not. It is also not those girls that stand on Fremont Street or on the Strip in front of the Bellagio and wear showgirl costumes. Those are just ordinary people that either rented or bought a showgirl costume, and they're not very good showgirl costumes. They have no dance training. They are not in shows on the Strip. They're just trying to make some money, and, you know, no hate to them. Like, if people are willing to give them money to take a photo, awesome, but they are not showgirls. They're just people in costumes. I hope that answers your question a little bit more. And the second part to her question about Vegas, being an entertainer in Vegas versus other cities. So I worked briefly in New York City. The only thing I did there was go-go dancing, which I've also done in Vegas, and that was pretty much the same, to be honest. The only difference was it was more independent. You had to supply your own costumes and your own outfits. In Vegas, you're almost always given a costume, not to keep, but to wear on your set or on your shift. And in LA, I've only done the music video for The Weekend and a couple other things. So I don't have a lot of experience there, but from what I've heard from friends in New York and LA, and just kind of the impression that I get is that it is less supportive in those communities because it is so much more competitive, and because the cost of living is so high. A lot of people have to have, you know, 6 jobs in addition to taking class and auditioning and gigging. So, and that's not the case in Vegas. In Vegas, most of us get by just fine with our shows and our gigs. And we do much better for ourselves financially. So there's not that stress and that like super competitive, like I can't, you know, share the wealth or tell people about an audition because I need to get it. So, and again, that's not based on experience that I personally have, just kind of impressions that I've gotten and things that I've heard from people. So if you're from New York or LA and that's not true, like let me know, put it in the comments. But yeah, that's been my experience. So Vegas is just kind of more of a comfortable vibe because everybody's doing okay for themselves. And, you know, like I said in a couple of my videos, the cost of living is low, and you can just get by really easily. The other great thing is it's a small community. We all know each other. We'll, you know, be at parties with each other or events with each other. So there's really kind of this inclusive feeling, and you see a lot of times people end up working with each other or for each other, and it's really great. So that's what I like about Vegas. And again, I've only worked a little in New York and LA. I've never worked in Europe. That's actually a goal of mine before I end up retiring. I would absolutely love the opportunity to do a couple of shows or projects in Europe. So if that ever happens, of course, I will let you guys know all about it. So that's it. Those are the second questions I wanted to do for you guys in this part 2 video. But yeah, if you have any other comments or questions, please don't hesitate. You can put them in the comments or send me a DM on Instagram, and I will definitely answer them. It means a lot to me to be able to communicate with you guys, and it's one of my favorite things about doing this is building a community and getting to interact. And I really want to know what you think and what interests you and what you want to know. So that's it. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my day in San Diego, and I'll see you guys in the next video.